Hi, all you SPMEs out there. Today's topic has 3 points, and you're going to want to stick around because the third point is going to tell you the absolute most important do that you need to start doing if you aren't already. So let's get into it. The topic for today is self-publishing do's and don'ts. Now, for many of you, you're starting off as an author and you've got your very first manuscript written, or you're working on it at this point. And that brings in a lot of questions upon which things you ought to do and which things you should definitely not do. And trying to understand these strategies can get very confusing as we think through it. Confusion results in us doing absolutely nothing and not self-publishing the book that we've spent so much time trying to put together in the first place. And that is the one thing we do not want to do, is get stuck and in overwhelm. So this is what we're going to hit in today's video. This is Chris Baird from selfpublishingmadeeasynow.com, where self-publishing doesn't have to be so hard. Hit the subscribe button if you find this video helpful so that I can help other authors also get the information they need to get their books put together and selling. In addition, check out below in the description and you will find a copy of my absolutely free self-publishing checklist to make sure that you are not skipping any of the steps you're going to need to get your books selling. So let's get into it. My personal biggest don'ts I did. Now that's a little bit confusing, but We'll get into it. What are the things that I did I regret doing? So one of them was posting my books in random Facebook groups. This is a very common thing for authors to think, that if you just post it enough on social media, that somehow will result in sales. It really will not, unless those groups are already interested in your book. But this idea of just posting links to your book, I don't think I got very many sales at all. Probably no sales using this particular tactic. Number 2, I spent way too much time refreshing daily sales, looking at your sales dashboard. You get so excited seeing those sales, but it can become obsessive compulsive where you're just going in there and continually clicking refresh. I highly recommend you not fall for this trap. Check one time a day and that's it. If you find yourself on any of your things refreshing over and over to find something, whether it's your ads or anything else, this is a bad idea. Do it just once a day. Otherwise, you'll be wasting a lot of time. The next was chatting with other authors and pushing my books to them. Now, chatting can be good if you're with authors who are discussing strategy, but in general, a lot of time is spent by authors instead of producing books and getting their books optimized and selling. It's spent talking with other authors, and you feel that you're doing something, but this doing doesn't count because usually it is not affecting your bottom line, and that is something we really ought to avoid. In addition, other authors are probably not interested in buying your books. I know that's really hard for a lot of authors to realize, but pushing your books on other authors simply is not an effective strategy. In addition, running ads without knowing whether they are losing money or making a profit is a huge mistake. I made this one as well, which was putting my ads out there, putting a high level of spend and a high bid price on them, and then seeing, wow, look at all the sales that I'm making. Of course, when I did the math, I realized suddenly I'm actually losing money on all of these ads. And that was a mistake I only needed to make for 1 or 2 months until I made the discovery that you need to track your ads. So that was another one. The thing is that I learned from these mistakes and changed what I was doing in order to move on and to improve. Now, I am most definitely still making mistakes. Every day I wake up and wonder, what mistakes am I making, right? And so we listen to YouTube channels like this one, and we watch other YouTube channels, and we read books, and we take courses in order to make sure that we are not making those mistakes. Sometimes just getting a guide. I offer coaching help if people would like to have that service as well. So just check out below in the description if that would be of help to you. Or just go it alone and see if you can figure it out. If you watch these videos, you'll get quite a bit of tips regarding the mistakes that are commonly made. So let's get into it. Self-publishing do's and don'ts. The first point is for the do's. You should optimize your book. The cover, making sure the keywords you're using are good, making sure that we've got all of the length of the book is good, the formatting is correct, it's in multiple, we're pushing it across different platforms in terms of a distribution, and that our end user experience is going to be positive with a great description and the title, and all of that comes together as a package, drawing our readers in. Then the second thing you should do is create new books. You should always be creating ABC. I remember somebody I respect make that comment before. Always be creating brand new books and putting them on the market, because this is the most effective way. The biggest earners on Amazon have 40 books or more each. And if you're only on your first book, we need to just keep on writing and putting more books out onto the market. That's a very powerful way to increase the money that's coming in. And the final one is running ads against your book. So many authors think that just putting a book out there will sell itself. That is a mistake. It will sell some copies, but you will drastically increase your sales by running Amazon ads against those books. But for the don'ts, don't waste time chatting with other authors, with others. And the thing is that making sure that if you're discussing strategy, that's fine, but just general chit chat about the weather and stuff is not going to move the needle on your sales or in terms of getting new books written. So do not do that. The next is social media marketing. Most social media marketing is completely worthless. I remember putting it out on Twitter, tweeting out my books multiple times a day, and I would see people clicking on it, but in reality it was just the robots from Twitter clicking, and the people really don't care. This isn't what causes a person to buy a book. They go onto Amazon and they look for it, or you're doing content marketing in order to draw readers in who are in your target market, or you're hanging out where those readers are, making a relationship and then mentioning the books that you have that maybe they would also like to read. So that's another little trick. And the other thing is don't do just in case learning. All of your learning should be just in time. We're learning the skills that we need as we need them and not learning them years in advance. Like, what about this? What about that? And that's a huge one. But the secret point of the day, our third one for the day, is that the most important do is take one step at a time and do not move on until you understand and have done the first step. Now, for me, I would say that is getting your book into KDP. That's the most important first step. And before you've done that, we should not be moving on to running ads or anything else. We just want to get this very first step complete. So, can you tell me a little bit about what is your biggest don't? That's the one I care most about. What is the biggest don't that you found? Write it down below in the comments, and that will really help me know if I'm reaching you on some of these subjects, and maybe you can teach me something on here. And check up above me here for more video answers to your self-publishing questions. Thanks.